There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
It's September, and you know what that means. Remote starter season is right around the corner, and that spells profits for many of our dealers out there and a good time to get back on track with business. From the latest T-harness applications to the newest bypass technologies, vehicle tracking systems, and beyond, these are the brands that help innovate to provide the utmost convenience for car owners today. This is CMA Live, presented by SiriusXM. The Remote Starters and Telematics episode starts now. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to CMA Live, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. And on this evening's live, well, like I said in the beginning, we're already September, and car starter season is here. So, of course, we had to gather some of the biggest and baddest brands in the business to give you updates as to what's going on for this remote starter season so that you, the dealer, can make the best decisions possible and optimize this remote starter season. So 5 brands on the menu tonight, all with 5 different products and 5 different perspectives, all of which are tremendous brands within the industry when it comes to either remote start, security, and even telematics as well. Let's start with our very first brand, and gentleman who is pretty iconic in the industry. We love having him on. Very, very well-versed, experienced. He's the Vice President of Vehicle Security at Vox Electronics. His name is Joe Dentamaro.
How you doing, Ben? Great to be with you tonight.
Mr. Joe, I wish you were on more often, but obviously when it comes to remote season time, we have to give you a call, of course. Now, Joe, much time has passed. Drastic changes have probably happened, the most drastic we've ever experienced in the last few years. I wanted to start off this evening by picking your brain as to the progress that we've made in the last 12 months since the last time you were on, and how are things different and how are things looking for this season's remote starter season?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. I'm sure it's something, dealers across the country are all concerned about. From our perspective at Vox, with all our brands on the Prestige, Pursuit, Code Alarm side, on the Vox side, and then of course all of our directed brands. Last year was incredibly challenging with inventory, with components, the component shortages and delays. And we lived through it. We made it through. We made it to the other side. A lot of our dealers did as well. We tried really hard to allocate and make sure we tried to keep everybody happy or as happy as possible. Earlier on in the year, we typically bring product in throughout the remote start season with scheduled shipments coming in and, trying to time it just right so we're not sitting on a ton of inventory. But this year we did things a little bit differently. We going out of last year, we started working with all of our factories and acquiring components and long lead time components. And, Aaron Demers, my boss, the senior vice president of Vox, we made a commitment to our suppliers to go through that inventory and get it, especially for the long lead time parts. And we did that with all of our suppliers. So I think from a planning perspective, we tried rubbing our crystal ball a little bit to see what this year, the 2022-23 season would look like. and just started getting inventory in a lot sooner. So, it's a fortunate thing for us this year. I don't want to mislead anybody or make you think like there's no issues out there at all. There's still challenges. There's still, COVID can pop up in a certain country or something and cause a factory to delay or shipments to delay. Still, we're dealing with that. We're still dealing with some component shortages on a random basis. But in terms of this year compared to last year, much better this year than we were last year for sure.
Well, that's the positive news that we were hoping that you would say for sure. Now, Vox has obviously been very busy since last year. In fact, if my memory serves me correct, probably around February, March timeframe, big announcement happened. A new partner in Canada as far as the distribution and the representation is concerned. Can you help us? Can you help clarify a little bit about that whole deal and where it's been now that there's been a couple of months that have passed for it to really take into effect?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, as soon as we acquired DEI a couple of years ago, we started looking at obviously all the territories, all the reps, all the countries. We do business globally with all of our brands. In Canada, very close to us, close to our hearts. We have an office and a facility in Lachine, suburb of Montreal. So obviously, Canada is very important. We do a lot of business in Canada. So, we started looking at our options and how we wanted to support and service dealers in the country. And we're fortunate enough, we have a very long relationship, a personal long relationship with a rep firm and distribution company in Canada. I'm sure a lot of the viewers have heard about a company called Gemsen out of Toronto area. So, we started talking to Gemsen early on in after we acquired DEI. And because of all the inventory challenges and everything that was going on last year, we didn't think it was appropriate to start a relationship like that in the middle of all that turmoil. So, what it did is gave us a long time to work with them, develop our strategies and how we wanted to go to market in Canada. And like you said, around February timeframe, end of January, we made the program official with Gemsen to be the Vox representatives for the country of Canada. So they'll have all of the products in the Vox lineup for Canada on a rep level. So all of our, obviously, security products, mobile video products, our collision avoidance ADAS products, all of that product, Gemsen will be representing Vox in Canada. And then El Fontaine will come on a little bit later, but as far as the directed brands and the distributors that we have in Canada, he can go through that. But we're real excited about it. Like I said, I have a relationship with Gemsen that goes back decades. When we started at Code Alarm, they were my code rep. We have a long relationship. They're just a first-class operation and know how to service the dealer. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to make sure that happens, is the dealer's taken care of. So, that's the route we went down.
Very good, very good. Well, congratulations for that new partnership with Vox and Gemsen. Now, last year, it was kind of weird. We had this topic in a roundtable, and we're saying, man, this year, that analog system might be coming into play more than ever before. That for some dealers was an easy thing to deal with. Other dealers who weren't really comfortable in the analog realm kind of had to become comfortable in a hurry to meet demand. What is your take on the analog versus digital situation moving into this season?
So again, great question. My feeling of analog versus digital has never changed, and I don't think will ever change. I can tell you right now, corny phrase, but analog saved our bacon last year with inventory. That's for sure. And I'm sure it did for a lot of the dealers watching today. The biggest chip issue that we had were on digital platform products, especially those that had Bluetooth in it. And again, that's still those issues still remain out there today. So, in terms of analog versus digital, the digital platform of remote start and security is certainly here to stay. We invest a lot of time, energy, manpower in new development and things like that off the digital platform. There isn't a lot you can do with an analog starter or an analog alarm system, but there's still rock solid products, a bedrock of our distribution. We do thousands of analog starters and security systems. So, our philosophy has always been and was even when we acquired DEI, as long as we have a customer for it and that customer wants to consume it and it's a viable, profitable category, we're going to keep going with it and, not force anybody, especially obviously our dealers, into one direction. There were a lot of companies out there that did that do that, but that's just it's not in our playbook, right? So, we want to, if a dealer's happy with that, we're happy for them. So, we'll continue going down that path.
Very good, very good. Now I have you on, and as you mentioned, I do have Al Fontaine coming on later, so I'm going to pick his brain on some Viper directed product. But while I have you on, Joe, let's talk a little bit about Prestige. I know it's a brand that's near and dear to your heart. Yeah. Obviously, years and years of experience representing the brand. What message do you have for dealers who are booking or maybe want to do that second booking, looking into the season, from the Prestige lineup that you strongly recommend?
Yeah, sure. So, again, Prestige in the Vox side is all analog product in the Prestige lineup. We do have RF kits that pair with our digital platform of product under FlashLogic, the FLRS BA. So, we do play both categories there. We are developing an RF platform to take the Prestige RF to be able to use on the DS4 platform with directed as well. So, there's the nice part about coming out of this component issue that seems like all we did was spent every waking moment of the day trying to find components or design around components to change components. We're starting to come out of that and letting the engineers and the product guys that work for me get creative again, right? And come out with some new stuff. So we're hard at work at doing that. We have a bunch of cool new stuff that you'll see in all my categories coming out, announcements made later this year. So we're excited about that. But, back on Prestige, I tell you that there's really 4 key models in the Prestige lineup. The flagship for Vox has always been our APS 997Z. It's a 2-way LCD remote start security combo unit. Again, it's rock solid. It's been our leader for years and years and years. Last year, and again, unfortunately, it was right before the pandemic, so we got a late delivery in with the product, so we really didn't get a chance to seed it. But we released a product called the APS 997 ZLR. So the ZLR part of the product, obviously LR is for long range. It's a LoRa-based product, so it gets over 3 miles of range. So it's again, based like our APS 997, 2-way LCD remote start security combo with 3 miles of range. But the cool part about that product is the companion remote, which usually are 1-way transmitters. We add a 2-way LED remote with that kit as well. So you get a 2-way LCD and a 2-way LED. So it's a really good valued product with incredible range, really beautiful looking transmitter. So if anybody gets a chance to see that, go online, at voxelectronics.com to look at that product, or contact Gemson. They could walk you through that. But it's a beautiful product.
I would recommend they tune into our one-on-one connected about Prestige just in a few days from now, where we're going to go through with Joe the entire line of Prestige. So if you're interested in anything Joe talked about there, definitely tune in for that one. Yeah. Can't let you go, Joe, if I don't pick your brain and tap into your wisdom a little bit. I know you don't have a crystal ball. We know this. But
a lot of people think we do.
No, but your noggin is pretty darn good. So I'm going to lean on you on this one. What advice do you have for dealers to best prepare for this specific season, given all the circumstances and the landscape that you can see?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's probably frustrating It frustrates me on a daily basis. And, we just got off, we do a monthly sales call with all our regional managers. We do it twice a month. This was the beginning call. But usually this time of year, especially in Canada, everybody's pretty much locked in already, right? They already have their booking orders in. Everybody's loaded up, ready for bear. And I think, with everybody coming out of COVID last year and were panic buying through the season, just trying to get everything they could, and then going through the spring, using up that inventory, and then everything that happened with the economy and inflation and gas prices and everybody just getting a little freaked out with what's going on today. But I don't think there's any dealers or distributors that are so loaded with inventory they don't want to buy anything anymore. I think it's just that fear of the unknown of what's going to happen. And it's funny, we're talking about a product, a remote start product, and usually when we start talking about this product with our dealers, it's 80, 90, 100 degrees outside. So it's kind of hard to put you in that frame of mind. But, I've been doing this for a really long time, and winter always comes. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's going to smack you in the face. There's no question about it. It does it every year. When you don't want it to happen, it happens.
And, our philosophy has always been, we have seen some of our competitors do things with trying to jam people with product in July and August, and then they have to pay for it. Then they're sitting on it for 4 or 5 months of the season. We're really flexible with our programs and with our dealers. And really the part that I would stress to all the dealers out there is just communicate with your distributors, communicate with your factories, project orders out, forecast orders out with them, work with them. We're willing to do that with our dealers to make sure they have product. But those guys that just are going to wait and procrastinate and wait for it to get cold, or wait, they're down to 2 or 3 units and they need to order some more, it's going to be really tight, right? So like I said, we have inventory. We saw dealers stepping up at the end of last month. I mean, we probably had a record day the last day of August with orders coming in. So it's coming. We've got it now. I would just tell everybody to plan accordingly.
And I think that will repeat regardless of which brand presents this evening. I think that's right across the board. Joe, thank you so much for being here. Let's throw up the digits. You had already mentioned, if you're interested in prestige products, or for that matter, any Vox Electronics product, check out the website, voxelectronics.com. And as you heard, since February, if you're a Canadian dealer and you're interested in some Vox product, well, get a hold of the folks at GemSen. They are the representation for Vox in Canada. Joe, Mr. Dentamaro, thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Yep.
So that was Joe Dentamaro from Vox Electronics. And our next guest and brand, we're going to go back to Montreal, where many could arguably say is the birthplace of a lot of things that have to do with remote start. And this brand has certainly been part of that culture for many a decade. The brand is, of course, Fortin, or I like to call Fortin, from a French background. When we have with us this evening, their sales manager, Mr. J.P. Raymond.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm very well. And, I hear Fortin a lot, but I can't help but pronounce it Fortin. Forgive me if that's incorrect, but I can't help myself. That's all. Just when I see it, that's how it's
perfectly fine. I'll tell you. But, you can pronounce our name the way you like. And as long as you use our product or know about it, we're happy with it.
We're happy with it. JP, it's been a big year for Fortin. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of things. Why don't we start with some new stuff to get that out of the way? Some recent updates added to the T-harness applications list. I know you want to get out there to make sure everybody knows. Why don't you tell us about those?
Correct. We are introducing 2 new T-harnesses. Number one for Toyota, which is called a TAR1 Toy 16. And that'll do your RAV4 Prime, your Venza Hybrid, your Sienna Hybrid, and probably the one that I heard the most that was a very difficult car to do wire-to-wire is your Corolla Cross. So I think some guys will be happy because that's been a fairly popular model with Toyota, the Corolla Cross. Now, one of the things I would like to say about T-harnesses, for those of you that might not be familiar with our product, is when there is a 1 in the T-harness model number, in this case, THR1 Toy 16 is the model number, it is compatible with our Evo 1, which is our high-powered all-in-one unit. Now, the other one that we are introducing, and I'll show you what the differences are in a second here, is going to be a Subaru harness. That one is called a TAR Sub 4. Notice in that one, there is no 1 in the model number. That means that this one is compatible with our Evo All. So kind of easy to tell the difference on which is which with our product. Now, the first thing that's going to happen with Subaru, which is already available, is the firmware for those Subaru vehicles has been introduced as of last week. And the T-harness.
Nice. So this is fresh.
T-harness will be coming out in, give or take, probably the end of this month. Okay. Now, your firmware will do your WRX push to start 2022, your BRZ push to start 2022, your Legacy push to start 2020 to 2022, your Outback push to start 20 to 2022, and your GR push to start 2022. So they're all kind of
all the new ones.
Talking about T-harnesses, one of the things that people wonder is, number one, are they 100% plug and play? Not necessarily. As you understand, I just listed a number of different vehicles that can be done with those T-harnesses. In order to be able to do families of vehicles like that, sometimes you may have 1 or 2 wires to connect. So reality is, if we were to do 100% plug and play, it'd probably be by vehicle as opposed to families of vehicle. Now, one of the things I want to make clear, Ben, and I want you to have a look at these 2 modules. I'll try to bring this as close as possible to the camera. Notice these 2 connectors here are identical on both modules.
Lift up the product a little bit more. There you go. Yep.
Okay, so you guys can see that those connectors are identical on both modules, right? So meaning that if I've got a T-harness that is technically compatible with an Evo All, I can also plug it on my Evo 1 because they share the same connector and the pin position is exactly the same. So in the event that somebody would want to use an Evo 1 because it offers more feature than an Evo All will, you can use an Evo All T-harness on an Evo 1 without a problem. You just would have to plug the high-powered section of your all-in-one module.
Makes sense.
See?
Yeah, very, very good. Now, JP, I was gonna ask this later, but I think I'm gonna switch it up. Is it me or is Fortin experiencing a little bit of growth? Because I've seen the distribution channels. I'm starting to see the footprint grow a little bit. Can you update us if that's true? That's just my gut feeling, but I wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth.
It is true. And I think that we owe that to an entire team. And when I say an entire team, what do I mean by that? I mean, our engineers that come out with great solutions for our products and our customers, our tech support team that are always there to support them with any type of technical question that may arise during an install. It's also our production team that, QCs our product 100%, so every piece that leaves this factory here is QC'd 100%. And they do make efforts to make sure that they go above and beyond their normal job description. It is also our admin team that makes sure that everything flows the way it should, as well as our business partners on the distribution side. They are also very important. And they've, made it a point to understand our product, understand our philosophy. And I think they've been able to carry it in the field.
Well, it's certainly paying off because I feel it. And so congratulations to you and all those important team members that you just pointed out right there. I know you love talking about sales. You're a sales manager and you're always willing, and this is something I'm really appreciative of, to share a little bit of perspective and advice from a sales perspective. And it's not even just Fortin specific. It's a little bit more of a segment type, advice. Why is it more important than ever right now, this upcoming season? Joe touched on a few things I think will flow right nicely into this question. Why is it more important than ever to always remember to offer the entire combo, remote start, security, remote controls, the high-end ones, every single interaction you have with the customer.
The interesting thing is that remote starter is a totally different demographics than what we normally see in a 12-volt shop. I mean, typically all summer long, you're seeing people that like audio, that want to buy audio. Typically, there will be a little younger than your remote start customer. Your remote start customer depends on you, the salesperson, to show them what is available. Now, we've all seen lately that there's been a resurgence of car theft, whether it is the entire vehicle or the content, and it's all over North America. So when those consumers are in, you're going to be opening their vehicle, the kick panel, and go through the wiring if you're not doing a T-harness, which I strongly suggest you do. But however, you can always offer that while you're there, if they wanted to add the alarm option, it would be this much dollars. And stick to that and show them and tell them what an alarm can do. I mean, in our case, if you're using one of our Evil One, which is the perfect alarm starter combo, it's a plug-in for a shock sensor called the FSS. It is also programmable at the output. What do I mean by that? Is that there's an output for a siren, but if you don't want to go under the hood, you can actually hook up the car horn, which is probably good enough to notify when thieves are trying to steal whatever the vehicle or the content of the vehicle. So if you're not offering it, to my mind, you are leaving money on the table. And you're already in there, so why not? This will take you probably on install level a few minutes more. But that's going to start at the front, Ben. That's going to be the sales guys. I've seen installers having to run back to the front and say to the guys, are we doing an alarm in this vehicle? It's all there. It could be easily done. Well, no, the sales guys should offer that right off the bat, and it should go to the back saying starter alarm combo, and they'll make it easy. Now, the other thing is, of course, what we've seen over the years is a lot of tree lock start being sold. I don't think that a tree lock start does the customer any favors. I mean, they're stuck with the range of their factory remote. That's not what remote starters are all about. It is to start your car from a distance. So offering remotes or telematics to your customer is the way to go, and explaining that they will get much better range. Now, most customers will tell you that they only park their car in the driveway and that's when they want to start it. Well, that's not true. They never go to the restaurant. They never go to the mall. They never go to the movies or local arena, being in Canada with the kids playing hockey. And they've sat in the cold arena all day. Maybe they want to start their car a little early so they can warm up. So do your customer a favor. Explain to them what the possibilities are. And the worst that can happen is you'll get a no. But if you don't offer them, you always get a no.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. I have a note here. People want to know about this Evo 1. You're talking about Evo 1. Well, I'm going to get more specific. Evo 1 3641 model. Now, what is it about this model that everybody's telling me I need to ask you about?
Interesting. We started shipping that product actually this week.
Okay.
What it is one of our Evo 1 all-in-one module with a one-way remote and a one-way receiver. Our other RF system all include a two-way receiver. In this particular case, for cost reason, we went with a one-way. What this is designed to do is a lot of guys are doing analog, and nothing wrong with that, but they're bypass. And the interesting thing when that happens, and I know because my title is sales, but I also manage tech support here. And call comes in tech support. Somebody's done an analog with one of our bypass. Well, guess what? It gets blamed on the other guy. You call the other guy, it gets blamed on us. So you're playing ping pong, and whose fault is it for what's going on? Mm-hmm. And all in one, you've only got one place to call, so that eliminates that problem, number one. And number two, it also offers you the possibility of doing an alarm. The Evo 1 can be expanded into doing an alarm. We just talked about it a few minutes ago. Yeah, so again, somebody would like a more entry-level type product, there are still possibilities to upgrade them. So comes with two 4-button remotes that are designed for human beings with large buttons that can be pressed by fingers, not surgical instrument, as I like to
What
say.
if I'm wearing my gloves though, JP? Because you know I'm going to be wearing my gloves.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, that product we're shipping out, we started this week, and it should be a winner for us.
So the popularity of it is the value in the price point.
Correct.
Gotcha. All right. And that is the EVO 13641 model, if you guys are interested. All right. JP, thanks so much for coming in. Let's bring up the information. For more information on everything JP has spoken to tonight when it comes to Fortin products, you're going to want to visit their website. It's fortin.ca or fortin.ca, whichever way you want to pronounce it. And if you're interested in becoming a dealer, well, guess what? Same website. Fortin.ca for all dealer inquiries. Get a hold of them, and they will either set you up, depending on where you are in Canada, or the US for that matter, with the right distributor, and get you all set up. JP, thank you so much for coming in. Have a great remote starter season.
Thank you, Ben.
All right. So as mentioned earlier on when I was talking to Joe from Vox, we're going to go to another Vox representative, but he kind of takes care of, well, he's the vice president of sales and more specifically for all that is directed. His name is Al Fontaine. Let's go to Florida where Al is to bring him into the studio.
Hey, Ben, thanks for having me in tonight.
Of course we're going to have you in. You're Al Fontaine from Directed. Why would I not have you in? Because let's be honest, it's a hot topic. Viper. Big brand, right? For Directed, it's kind of like the marquee, iconic brand. A little bit of restructuring has happened specifically within Canada. And I wanted to start with this so that you have every opportunity to help us understand the new layout moving forward into this new season.
Yes, definitely. So what we did with the Viper brand was, like Joe shared earlier, we actually had some time to really plan out our go-to-market strategy with the folks from Gemsen. And what we decided to do was model our go-to-market that we have here in the US, which is Viper is direct. So we worked with our partners that had Viper, our distributor partners that had Viper. And what we did was we took Viper and gave it to Gemsen. And what we're doing is utilizing Gemsen's sales team to actually sell the Viper product direct to the retailers, where we can control the distribution of where it goes to. And what we've done with our distributor partners also was we tried to give each of them a brand that will be their brand to sell in the particular market that they cover. So that way they're not fighting with each other over everybody selling the same brand, and it becomes a race to zero in pricing. So that's the model that we've come up with, and it's working right now too. So, and once again, if retailers are interested in purchasing Viper product from Gemsen, please email sales@gemsen.com. And one other thing that I'd like to let everyone know about is Gemsen actually has a gentleman by the name of Danny Prezzo, an industry vet in Canada, that is their business development manager. And Danny is actually working with me to help manage the business that we do with our distributor partners in Canada.
That's awesome. So first of all, it sounds like it's a model that you didn't come out of thin air. It's a model that exists, that's doing well for you in the US, and simply you've now mirrored that same platform or same model in Canada. Second, you mentioned Danny Prezzo. Don't worry, Al, everybody in Canada knows who Danny Prezzo is.
They all know Danny, right?
There's that part.
He's been doing an incredible job, and working with the distributor partners, as well as driving their sales team too. Once again, like I said, they have boots across the ground that can cover the entire Canada for us. Where in the past we actually only had 2 folks that were running Canada, prior to.
Which is a tall order. It's a lot of territory to cover for sure.
It's a lot of territory. And both the guys that we had were out west, so it made it very tough to get in front of the retailers.
I do encourage our listeners, our dealers, if you missed it today, myself, Al, and Joe, we did a full breakout show all about Viper, more detail about distribution, products, everything happened. Go check it out on CMANetworks.com. All right, let's talk about latest releases. T-harnesses, of course, very important to keep our dealers up to date. What have been the latest releases for T-harnesses for the DS4 platform, Al?
Right, the latest one that we have right now is the THH-YN5. That covers Hyundai and Kia from 2011 to 2020. A lot of those vehicles out on the road, and there's a lot of remote start security systems going into those vehicles right now. So It actually is compatible with the Hyundai 2 and the Hyundai 4 firmware, and also the Kia 7 and the Kia 9 firmware. So that's the latest one we have. We're working on a lot more, and we're that we should be able to release here shortly also.
Very good, but make no mistake, that one item you just mentioned covers 9 years of Kia and Hyundai.
Exactly,
I mean,
exactly. And there's a lot of them. I mean, just
vehicles.
look. Yeah, it's a very popular vehicle up in Canada, both the Hyundai and the Kia.
I think worldwide, honestly, those Korean brands are kind of killing it right now as far as sales. I mean, they're really doing well. Okay, so those are the new T-harness applications for the DS4, and more to come. I think Joe also alluded to that, maybe a little bit bigger announcements a little bit later on in the season. Okay. Now, in our presentation together, you brought up something, and I had to write it down, and I want to ask you more about it tonight. There was a model or a service that was only available in one province, which has now become available right across the board throughout Canada. We're talking about the DSM 550FR. Please tell us all the features and benefits and what this thing is all about.
Yep. The good part about the DSM 550FR, like you said, was available only in, it was available in Ontario and Quebec initially. So we went with that for probably almost 2 years, where it was just available in those two markets. There was a lot of demand from outside, and we actually listened to the customers up there, and now we've made it across all of Canada. It's 4G LTE, and it works with the Bell, Rogers, and Telus networks. It's actually based on our regular 550. It's just a plan that goes along with it.
Okay.
So yeah, so the consumer, so it's not like it's a different unit or anything like that.
The hardware is the same. It's the software package, or
that's right, exactly.
Package. Right.
The good part about it is too, you get two-way digital confirmation with this system when you use a digital system, meaning like a DS3 or DS4 platform. You get two-way confirmation to include real-time status. So when you open up the app, you can look at the status bar along the bottom. It would tell you if the vehicle's locked, if it's unlocked, if the engine's running, how much runtime is left, and you can even extend runtime using that, as part of the DSM 550FR standard service. So, and then also a consumer can upgrade to lifetime GPS and roadside assistance for a one-time fee of $100.
Wait. I'm going to slow down for a second.
Yep.
There's no cost to everything you just talked about before?
No cost on the basic service plan, which was everything other than the GPS and roadside assistance.
And that's a one-time purchase or expense.
Right. If they want to upgrade, like I said, to GPS and roadside assistance, it's a one-time $100 charge. If not, they have everything other than GPS, with no annual service fee.
So I'm just going to speak to myself here. I happen to have a wife, which probably asked, did you lock the doors 5 times before we even have our first course served? This is perfect. Check it yourself, dear, whenever you want.
There you go, right? Open the app and see it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, ever since we launched it, Ben, we had a lot of sales of this unit.
All right, so we're on the topic of telematics, I guess. This is still telematics-ish. Let's talk about telematics. You know, Viper's been no stranger in that category. The last time we were on, we talked about all these great packages that were, I guess directed to not only consumers, but there are also some small fleet solutions in there. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, we have our basic, consumer version of the Viper Smart Start, but once again, just like the DSM 550FR, our small fleet and family plans use the same exact device. It's just a service plan that is applied to the 550. Okay, so for the consumer side, if they buy a Smart Start, they get 60-day free service trial that includes GPS. So that way they can kind of test drive the GPS function to see if that's something they might want to go forward with once the 60-day trial period ends. And ironically, over 90% of the people actually, when they opt in for their service plan, opt in with the GPS. So it's incredibly popular for us. Okay. On top of it, we have 3 service plans that are available. 3 options that are available for service plans. They can pay monthly, they can pay with a 1-year prepaid, and they can pay with a 3-year prepaid. The most popular is the 1-year prepaid, and it's $119.99. That does include the GPS, and it also does include roadside assistance. And for anybody that uses like AAA or anything like that, I know AAA is like $89.95 for 1 year. So it's a great value for the price.
I mean,
and
sorry, just to interject, Al. Like, I have a 17-year-old son who just got their driver license.
There you go.
Yeah, it's worth its weight in gold. That's all.
Yep, it definitely is. The peace of mind, right? I mean, you get a flat tire, you run out of gas,
all of that. Yes.
It's all covered in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were asking about the small fleet and family.
Yes.
The small fleet. I mean, there's a lot of these, plumbing companies, heat and AC companies that are out there, et cetera, right? That they have a small fleet. They don't want to pay for real-time breadcrumb tracking because that's very expensive. So we have a couple plans that are available for them. We have a regular GPS plan, and the GPS plan, the only difference between the regular GPS plan and the premium GPS plan is the refresh rate and the data storage rate. So for instance, on the regular GPS plan, the system refreshes once every 2 minutes. So if you're trying to track it just by pinging it each time to locate, it would refresh once every 2 minutes. And the data or the history is stored for 90 days. Okay. If you get the premium plan, then it refreshes every 30 seconds, and the data or history is stored for 1 year.
I think that really depends on the business model,
exactly.
of that small fleet and what it is that they're actually doing. Or are those vehicles always in motion, or are they parked half the day? I think all these decisions are based on the
a lot of people use them right now. Currently, they use them because they want to know where their technician is or something. Because somebody just called in about a job. Hey, let me ping this.
Who's my closest guy for this emergency? Or
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely, totally.
Yep.
I would be remiss if I have Al Fontaine from Viper on, and I don't give you an opportunity, because I know you're really proud of this, and rightfully so, is the support system, the resources, the tech support, all that great stuff that, the legacy that Viper has that offers their customers. I want to give you every opportunity to tell all our dealers and remind them what that support system is.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Ben. Yeah. I'm really passionate about this because I think we do a very, very good job of offering support to our retailers. The phone number for DEI tech support hasn't changed. It's still 800-753-0800. It's been that same number for, probably 25, going on 30 years, the same exact number. And we have techs on there currently 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And it's from 9 a.m. Eastern time to 8 p.m. Eastern time. Starting on October 8th, that first Saturday, it's game on. It's remote start season. So we'll start offering tech support on Saturdays also. And that's from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, starting on October the 8th. We also have our DirectText website. So everybody knows about the DirectText website. Tons of people use it. And, that's where all the information is to go ahead and, look up vehicle information, flash a device, or even put a service plan, not a service plan, but activate a smart start. So there's a really cool feature in DirectText also that some people aren't aware of. It's a chat feature. So let's say you have a question for a tech. You really don't need to speak to somebody. You just have a quick question. You can chat with them. Okay, so most of the techs are actually monitoring like 6 chats at a time. So no reason to wait on hold or anything like that for somebody to answer your phone call. You can just hit a quick chat and get your question answered. The other thing that we have is our Snake Pit Facebook forum. We have almost 6,400 members that are active on the forum, and it's a great network of people in the industry helping each other. So if you have a quick question and it's, let's say, 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, regular tech support's closed, guess what? Get on the Snake Pit Facebook forum, ask your question, you'll get your answer quickly. And, matter of fact, there's a lot of great techs from Canada that are very active on the Facebook forum too. So it's a great network. Like I say, everybody's supporting everybody. Nobody's, calling you out, for a kind of a basic install question. They just love to be able to help.
Yeah, I've been on there. No worries of being shamed or anything of that nature. It's pretty opening. Guys on there have been text. They all started, the same place you did. So
Yep. And it's really good to see. What I like about it, it's the industry helping the industry, right? So you're never out on your own. We basically when I talk about the tech support, it's pretty much 24 hours a day, 365 days a year with everything that we have in place.
Amazing. Al, thanks so much for coming in. Hey, listen, if you're interested in Viper getting updates or seeing what the latest offerings are or any of the support that Al's been talking about, you want to check out the website. It's viper.com. Pretty easy to remember, that's for sure. And in fact, I don't think that website's changed for 25 years.
Right.
And on top of that, of course, now direct to dealer through GemSend. So if you're a Canadian dealer and you want to be a Viper dealer, well, here's who you call. gemsend.com. I noticed in the thread of our chat, they've gone ahead and put in more information there should you want to inquire about Viper products through GemSend.
Perfect.
Mr. Al, thank you so much for being on. And again, I encourage everybody take a watch the video that we did today where we go in depth about Viper. We'll see you on the next one, Al.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. All right. Our fourth brand, albeit, is a newcomer to our CMA networks. Not like we've been on air for 20 years or anything. However, they are new, and I had a great time talking to him and learning about the product, and we're happy to have him here with us tonight, representing Omega. Yes, Omega. It's their technical support manager, Mr. Michael Betts.
What's up, Ben? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. We're talking remote start. We got some great people as guests tonight. We're getting some insight, getting updates, and new people to the network, such as yourselves, which bring a wealth of knowledge and experience. I'm super excited to talk to you about it. So let's dive in. I always like starting with the new, the latest, the greatest, to get that out of the way because people want to know. Link or Link R, however you want to pronounce it, it's the latest tool. It's going to improve both the installer and the customer user experience. I want you to tell us about the device and how it works.
All right. Linker MBT is going to be our new product we're introducing this season. And what it is, it's an interface that works by way of Bluetooth, connects with an app on your phone, and it gives the customer as well as the installer basic controls. So lock, unlock, remote start. You can see status. You can see the temperature in the vehicle, relative, of course. Pop the trunk. But it goes a step further, and it allows you to program settings that's on the actual remote starter, whether it be runtime, whether it be horn chirps, volume, things of that nature. And the benefit is any setting that you change, it is sent up to our server in the cloud. And if there's ever an issue, you can contact tech support and we can actually access it and see it in real time.
Very nice. Now, what about from a user perspective? How does that come into play?
User perspective is one, as you know, there's a lot of vehicles that are push to start vehicles now. A lot of customers don't want additional remotes. Some customers, there's smartphone interfaces like our sister brand Viper has the Smart Start. We have the Linker LT2. However, a lot of people don't want subscriptions. They don't want yearly subscriptions or monthly or what have you. So this is another alternative that allows them to do so. There's no fees for it. It operates by way of Bluetooth. And in addition to that, if you have some people who do camping, hiking, swimming, kayaking, they may not want to take their keys with them. So it allows them to lock their keys in their vehicle. They may be in an area where there's no cell service, but they can still operate their system because it works by way of Bluetooth.
Very good. And to top it all off, I understand that the price point of said unit is nothing dramatic.
No, MSRP is around $49.95, which is not, it's an easy way to add $50 to any ticket. In addition to that, we think it's a high value item that you can add to any cell, and it's pretty easy to demo. I mean, at that particular price point, salesmen can have it on their vehicles, and once people see it and they see it operate and they see how easy it is to use, it's pretty much a no-brainer.
I mean, I would imagine, sorry, I'm switching back and forth user and installer, but from the store perspective, it's a quick diagnostic tool as well, isn't it?
Correct. It's a quick diagnostic tool, programming tool. In addition to that, you can do real-time updates. So if it's in the customer's vehicle and we come up with a later software version for our remote starter series, you can essentially pair with their phone, or they can add you as a guest temporarily, and you can upgrade their system without even removing it from the
Nice.
vehicle.
Very, very nice. I'm going to take advantage of the fact this is your first time on live, first time on network. I want you to give you the opportunity to kind of just checklist real quick, fire off. What are a couple of the standout features or unique features that make a product, the Omega product, popular and has the following that it does?
Easy to install, easy to use for the owner, upgradable. All of our systems can be an alarm system at any particular point. We offer a lifetime warranty on all components, even the remotes, which gives a lot of peace of mind.
Did you say lifetime warranty?
Lifetime warranty on all components, even the remotes. So a lot of people, they hear that and they're really confused. They're like, really? Is this really believable? And hey, as long as it's not physically, water damage, we will warranty it. It's a pretty simple process. So this has to be sent back to us. We offer a wide range of products, and what we try to do is listen to what our dealers and users are looking for in terms of features or functionality. And we try our best to offer that at a reasonable price point, and, with a lot of reliability as well.
All right, very good. Now you mentioned the word upgradeability. Now, from what I understand, and if I was paying attention, the 70 series on the Excalibur line offers a very simple, very easy to explain and sell upgradeability path for customers at the sales point. Please explain.
That is correct. Well, what we do is we offer a simple security upgrade kit. Comes with a digital shock sensor as well as a siren. So AUSEC, you can set the box on the counter as the customer's paying for their particular item before you demo it. Hey, what's this upgrade here? Oh, your particular system, you can turn it into a security system at any particular point. We think, security is making, a big turn. You see what's happening with Hyundais and Kias. You see what's happening with the Mopar vehicles, the Challengers and the Chargers. So security has become very, very popular again. Not to mention, there's a lot of service vehicles running around. I mean, you have to remember there was, companies, plumbers and electricians that had brick and mortar buildings for their offices. They, living in and out of vans or living out of ProMasters or things of that nature. There's a lot of tools and equipment that are in those vehicles. They're looking for security, not just remote start per se, but also for security as well. And, we offer a lot of, flexibility with our systems, and you can purchase a remote start on Monday and upgrade it to an alarm by Friday.
Is it just that easy, back and forth, in and out?
Correct.
Okay, so
you can even downgrade.
I don't know why.
So if you
downgrading,
well, what happens, for instance, if you had a customer had our top of the line 2075, it had the remote. Let's say they get a push to start vehicle and now they don't want to carry a remote.
I see what you're saying. Yes,
they can remove the remote, turn it into a 3x lock to start solution, or add the linker MPT or the LT2 and control it from their phone.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily downgrading per se, but gives you that flexibility that can be anything you need at any time.
Very well. Now, you mentioned security. Security has always been a mainstay for Omega. It's kind of in your moniker, in your slogan, right? Can you share with us some of the popular solutions that you kind of touched on a little bit when it comes to vehicle security features? Let's refresh the folks. Now that security is a thing, let's remind them what is available out there for them to install.
Well, security, any of our 70 series, like I mentioned, can be a security system at any point. We offer additional sensors, glass break sensors, proximity, tilt sensors that will protect wheels and tires on vehicles, as well as preventing them from getting towed. There's a lot of flexibility with our system with adding additional sirens. We offer aggressor air horns and things of that nature if you want to make it loud. The smartphone interfaces. So there's a lot that you can do from a security standpoint, not to mention a lot of shops can build a lot of value with that and turn a ticket that could be $300 to $400 into $500 or $600 with just a couple sensors and battery backup options that we offer as well. So it's still viable, it's still necessary, and I think even more today, it's still something that a lot of shops, once again, can turn that ticket into a really big sale, but still use the same product.
Which is nice. So you start with one place and you can take it wherever you want.
At any time.
Now, we're talking, upgradability path. We're talking security, ease of use. We're talking that new linker. But let's not forget, Omega has a huge selection of T-harness solutions as well, like all the other big players. So I want you to talk a little bit about that and maybe a couple of the newer, releases.
Sure. All of our T-harnesses are compatible with all of our 70 series brains, the XX70B, which is blade compatible, and the X70. All of them come with the adapters to be used with a blade and or an MDB all of them come with the ability to be used with any other systems. In our Crime Stopper lines, we have specific adapters for the G5 line, so we make it very flexible for that. Also, we build a lot of value. Some of the newer ones, the TL6 and TL7s, they cover the latest Toyota products and Lexus push-to-start models. The NI8 covers all the newest and latest Nissan Altimas, Nissan Rogues, Rogue Sports, and things of that nature. They can be even used in applications where the bypass interface is the remote starter itself. And what we do with our T-harnesses is we provide detailed guides. So it's kind of like one stop. You can take a tablet, you can take a netbook or print it off, and everything is on that page, from the installation in the vehicle, all the wiring that's needed for the actual install, the diagram for the appropriate remote start system and bypass you're using, as well as all of the programming needed. So you can literally go off of one form or a couple pages and do a complete install. And that right there saves a lot of time, saves a lot of resources, also opens the door for people who may not be very fluent in remote starts or just learning, allows them to, get introduced to it, and builds a lot of value. Not to mention, it creates an environment for a shop to get that customer back in the vehicle, because 60 to 70% of the vehicles that are purchased nowadays are leased. So they're going to be going back in 2 to 3 years. You have the ability to get that customer back into your store, remove the system, have it for another vehicle for them, but also resell the T-harness in another application.
Interesting. Very interesting insight. I mean, tune in tomorrow, guys. I got Mike all to myself. We're going to go deep on everything that we just talked about. He's got an incredible presentation he's lined up. If you're not familiar with the Omega line of Excalibur and Crime Stopper products, definitely tune in tomorrow at noon, or watch it on YouTube, Facebook, or on our website. It's going to be an interesting one. For more information on Excalibur or Crime Stopper products, check out this URL, caralarm.com. That is the website. Very, very cool. And if you're interested in becoming a dealer, well, same thing. Caralarm.com. Get a hold of them, their sales department. They will connect you based on where you are on the planet. Mr. Betts, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to our one-on-one connected session tomorrow.
Looking forward to it, Ben. Thank you for having me.
You have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
All right, we are down to our last brand and guest of the evening. Now, he was scheduled to come on live. Last second, he gives me a call. Something came up. Doesn't matter. Don't sweat. We recorded an awesome interview with Phil Cameron, who's the product specialist at Upgradeability. Of course, we're talking about iDataStart, and my goodness, is there a lot of news coming out of the iDataStart camp this remote starter season. Strap in, take some notes. Here's how the interview went with Phil Cameron. First of all, Phil, I know you're busy out there getting people trained on remote start, so I can't thank you enough for making the time to sit with me. I'm going to jump right into it. Huge announcements coming out of iDataStart. Brand new game-changing hub unit being introduced. Tell us all about it.
All right. So if you've missed the training, the hub is this brand new next generation tool that will allow the technician to flash, program, configure, update, and clone their iDataStart remote starter. What's very different about the hub is this little portion right here. This is a place where you can insert a key, and this will allow you to make clones of key by simply sticking a key inside the reader, which will make your flashing process a whole lot simpler. So in the past, when you clone stuff, you had to go to the car, connect the bypass, do part one, disconnect, go back to the computer, do part one, then go back to the car and reconnect. With this, you'll be able to do it in one flow because you're doing it before. And this is the key part, this is a RF reader. So on a key to a car, there's always two portions. There's the passive transponder. This is where we wrap a wire around the key, right? And there's the active portion, the RFID, right? When you walk to your car, it recognizes the key. Now with the hub, you will be able to clone the RF portion of the key and use that for your remote start. So go ahead.
I mean, we went through it already, and it's still boggling my mind because this is real, and you just touched on it. But let's break that down for dealers who might be hearing this for the first time on live. This is going to change indefinitely the workflow from a technician standpoint while working on these vehicles, is it not?
It is, but not terribly big. It's going to change it, but in a positive way. It's not going to make your flash process harder or longer. It's going to simplify things. Like I mentioned before, the two-part clone where you have to connect this. If you're using this, it will be done before. So it's one part. And because we are now able to clone the RF portion of a key, is you will be able to do cars that we previously were not able to do. So yes, it's going to affect your process, but in a good way. It's not going to take longer. It's not going to be harder. The way I see this, the WebLink Hub is just another tool to my arsenal. I can still use this to flash and program my iData Start brain. So just like the ADS USB that I purchased 10 years ago, I'm going to buy one of these and use it for the rest of my life. This is just another tool that's going to allow us to do more.
And I mean, if it's a high volume shop, you might need more than one. But we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty sure that might happen. Like, I mean, a guy like you, Phil, you probably have two in your backpack.
I have one in my backpack, one in my desk, and one at home. And when I was an installer in a shop, I like to have my own tools.
Right.
Like I'm a remote starter guy, and when I did windshield and stuff like that, I bought all the equipment. I want my own stuff.
Fair enough.
So if you work in the shop might provide it. I would buy one for me just because I like having my own stuff.
So what are some of, I mean, the benefits seem to be very clear, right? Now we have access to vehicles, and we're going to get into with applications and stuff, but that you previously didn't have access to. Are there any other factors to consider when looking at how this hub will affect itself from a technician standpoint?
What do you mean? Be more specific. Like what? Like,
well, I mean, is there any more tools that I need? Is there any more research I need to be done? Is there more training involved that I have to now update myself on?
No. Like everything that ADS does, it's very intuitive, very, very simple. The prompt that you will get when you flash online, it will tell you exactly what to do. And if you've watched the training on this, you probably know that there are certain T harnesses available out there that will require this, right? There are certain vehicles that will require a specific T harness with the RF portion, and you will require the hub in order to do this. Sorry for the background noise.
Hey, we got to squeeze you in when we can, man. I'll take it. As long as we have you here. All right. So you're talking about new applications that actually will only work with the hub, as you mentioned. Let's talk about so new applications, new T harnesses. Go.
All right. The most anticipated one would be the ADS THR MA6 T harness, which is for the 2019 and up Mazda 3 and also the CX-30. So for the past year and a half or 2 years, ADS's solution to those cars was to wrap a key. Certain of our competition offered a data solution, and people were asking, when will ADS come out with this? Well, this is now. And the reason why it took ADS a little bit longer to offer a solution, it's in the method where they approach the transponder bypass. Instead of going to a data or a back-end control, we're doing with the front-end solution through RFID. So they invested a little bit more time into how to do it so that this can be helpful for the future. So yes, you're going to have certain vehicles that will only be able to be done with RFID. So for those vehicles, you will absolutely need the hub, because you will need to read the RF portion of the key, and you will absolutely require the T-harness that's specific for that. And if you're not sure, on the T-harness box at the bottom, it will say WebLink hub required.
Okay, very, very cool. It seems like they've thought of everything. So we're talking about a new hub. We're talking about new applications, new T-harness to go with said applications, a little bit of a methodology adaptation, but not that far off. Why do you think now, with this hub being the game changer you believe it to be, really maintains that position for iDataStart within the remote starter category as being one of the premier options?
Well, I have a very privileged position. As you know, I used to work for ADS. I worked there for a number of years. I've also worked with other manufacturers for a number of years, and I've been doing this for a very long time. And the one thing that always amazes me with ADS is they're always looking for the future. They're always looking to make something that's going to last forever, and they won't have to redo every 2-3 years. I'll give you a couple of examples on why you should seriously consider iDataLink, iDataStart as your partners for remote start. If you've been doing remote starts for a long time, you guys probably remember back in the day when bypass started to come out, all of them were application specific. So if you did a 96 Taurus, you had a bypass for that. If you did a Ford, you had a bypass for that. If you did a GM, you had a bypass for that. So most shop would have a wall full of dash kits for doing audio, and also another wall full of bypass, right? ADS came in and they innovated. They made the ALCA, which was the universal interface module that you could flash online for your specific application. At first, people were like, it's a little bit more money. I don't know if I really need it. I'm good with my application specific stuff. But if you look at now, everybody has a programmable universal interface to do everything. ADS was the first to come out with this stuff. And still today, you can flash a 5, 6, 7 years old ALCA, providing that the memory inside is still big enough to hold the newer firmware. You can still flash it for a newer car. So this is the proof in the pudding, right? So they thought about that. Second thing, you guys remember cloning a key, making a copy of that key? ADS was the first company to come out with a cloning process where you, with the interface, were able to make a copy of the key and reuse it to do remote start. Now, every bypass or remote starter manufacturer out there offers something similar to clone. Why? Because it is required. This extended the life of your interface module so you can use it for the future. Instead of focusing on creating new hardware, they just made a clone and used the same existing hardware with their online flashing process. Now, we're coming up with this guy here. ADS always amazes me on how they see the future. Now, traditionally, we do transponder bypass in data. We connect to the CAN network of the car and we copy whatever needs to be copied, and that's how they do it, correct? Now the cars are getting more and more complex, more and more data-driven, and more smart, like push to start and so on and so on. Pretty much all the cars out there, they have that passive transponder, which is the old style key, like this guy here. There's nothing to it, just a passive transponder. And you have your push to start with the RFID. You walk towards your car, the car knows you're coming, you grab the handles, it unlocks. This is all done wirelessly, RFID. So ADS saw that and they expanded their reach by creating the hub, where it will allow you to read the RF portion of the key, make a clone of it, and get using it for the future. If you didn't know, to crack a transponder, the encryption level is incredible. We're talking online banking encryption type of level.
Yeah.
So to crack that, it takes a lot of energy and time, right? But by doing RF, we can make it a little bit easier, and it's going to make sure that you can extend your remote starter future. Why? Because at the launch now, this hub is for two solutions, Subaru and Mazda. As a tech, if you tell me I need to buy this to do Subaru and Mazda, if I don't do a lot of these, I'll go, I don't really need it. In the future, the other application of where this will lead and all the other stuff it will open up opportunities to will be why they did it.
Again, back to your statement of somehow they get to forecast the future, and this is just another step towards that direction.
Exactly. And one thing that a lot of the dealers tell me is that they sometimes wait for ADS to release a solution, even though other competitors, they have a solution. They just feel it's more tested, proven, less buggy. I'm not saying the other ones are not good. Everybody makes a great solution.
They have confidence that it would be
exactly
a little bit higher level of reliability at the launch even.
Exactly.
Fair
so
enough. And that's a
rock solid,
that's
very
stable. That's a testament to the products and the ingenuity, the innovations that they've already done so far. So
yes.
Phil, thank you again for coming in. I don't know how we could have done a show like this without at least having you sit in and talking to us about this new device called the Hub from iDataStart. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
That was definitely some big news dropped by the iDataStart camp. Thank you to Phil for making the time, even last minute, to speak with us to get you guys that information. If you want more information on iDataStart products, we'll check out their website at iDataStart.com. And if you're in Canada, if you're interested in some iDataStart, hit up one of their distributors, Automobility, at automob.ca. All right. Well, believe it or not, we've come to an end. I want to give a big shout out to all the brands that joined us tonight. Vox or Prestige, Viper, Fortin, Excalibur, iDataStart. You know, these are the brands that you guys are going to go to and count on this upcoming season for Remote Start. Make sure you continue tuning in to CMA Networks right through till September 16th as we continue the Remote Starter and Telematics sessions. Each day, a new brand. We go deep one-on-one with every single brand you see there to make sure you have all the information that counts. All right. CMA Networks and Master Tech Expo, you might have heard of this show going down in Arizona next spring, is getting together along with 5-Axis Innovations and SiriusXM to bring you the Ultimate Fab Experience Contest. Head over to cmanetworks.com/giveaway to sign up. It's free to sign up. We're giving away not one, but 2 prize packages. 1 Canadian and 1 American individual will be headed to MasterTech in 2023. Flights, hotels, courses, all on us and our partners. Amazing. Go check that out. And while you're on our website, of course, peruse through our library of videos that covers every brand that you've seen this evening, every category imaginable. If you want to do some research on Remote Starter or Telematics, just type that in the search bar, search by category. Hundreds to choose from, CMAnetworks.com. This has been an awesome CMA Live presented by SiriusXM. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Good luck this Remote Starter season from all of us here at CMA Networks. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about
Stop
today. Today we're gonna go topics.
Roll it down. I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?